Greetings. My name is Brother Scott, and I believe that with faith, courage, and discipline, we will prevail. All right, so today's video, we're going to continue with our topic of understanding female attraction. So remember, here at Underdogs United, we have determined that our purpose in life is to pursue our calling and to build our dynasty. And when we're talking specifically about building a dynasty, one thing you need to do is understand female attraction, because if you want to build a dynasty with a partner, then guess what? You need to understand how to attract that partner. So we've already discussed the 4 primary attributes of attraction, what women are attracted to in a man. We started off with physical appearance. That's at the bottom. After that, it is financial security. After that is social status. And then lastly, it's confidence. Okay? And so we've already talked about physical appearance. We talked about financial security. We've talked about social status. And then our last topic, we're going to talk about confidence, which is the most important attribute. So you need to pay attention to this video, because this is the most important attribute as it pertains to when it comes to attracting women. Okay? All right, so let's begin. Women are hardwired to be attracted to confident men. Confidence sets the foundation for your future success. Women want a confident, independent leader. Our female ancestors valued confident men capable of providing guidance to her and her children. We understand. Now, let's break down confidence. What exactly is confidence? Confidence is one of those generic terms, and I'm going to break it down in the best way that you understand what I'm talking about. So, character traits, we're going to talk about character traits that are rooted in confidence. So we have the independent mindset. Independent men are free thinkers who don't take crap from others. They are respected by their peers and are less likely to be bullied or taken advantage of. Leadership ability. Men who administer effective leadership have life experience, competency, decisiveness, and problem-solving skills. Ambition. Ambitious men believe that they can do anything if they put their mind to it. In their mind, they are conquerors that are ready to take on any challenge. Bravery. Brave men can face uncertainty and stand their ground against opposition. An experienced man who has fought in many battles knows when to take calculated risk. All right, so these character traits that are rooted in confidence, independent mindset, leadership ability, ambition, and bravery. Confidence, you understand? Now, confidence is gained through competence, right? And then competence is gained through experience and repetition. So let's go back. Let's go back in the days of old before civilization. All right? So let's say your group of guys, right? Or your community, your band is having a dispute with a neighboring band along the coast or down the river, whatever the case may be. Guess what? If it comes down to where you guys have to exchange blows, you have to go toe-to-toe with these individuals, those guys, the ones that have already gained experience fighting other bands, other communities, they're going to have the most confidence if it ever does come down to It's either them or us. We understand that confidence that you're going to have when you go into battle, or you go do that raid, or you go participate in that skirmish. That confidence is going to come from your competence of fighting over an extended period of time, because you know what to do. You know what to expect. You know how this is going to go down. So that gives you that confidence. So before you go into that battle, you already know what's up. You understand? That's what I mean by confidence is gained through competence, right? You know the game. And competence is gained through experience and repetition over and over again. This goes back to learning a skill set, right? If you're about to go play a game, let's say you're a wide receiver, okay? And you've been a wide receiver, let's say you're an NFL wide receiver, and you played in the NFL for not only, so you played in college, you played in high school, you played in college, and now this is your third year in the NFL. You're going to have all the confidence in the world to get out there and perform your job, to catch that damn football, no matter how it's thrown to you, how fast it's thrown, how slow it is, how many defenders, because you have done it so much and so often. You've played in high school, you've played in college, you've already played in the pros, you've already scored touchdowns, you set records. You understand? So when you go out there, you're going to be more than confident that you're going to be able to play your part as to win the game. You understand? Therefore, giving you confidence. Okay? We understand. Now, next point. Having charisma and charm is an indication that a man is confident and comfortable around other people. It displays that he can get along with others and bring people together. Everyone likes a charismatic guy, especially when he is relatable. Okay, so we're going to talk about charisma for a bit, because charisma is just an elevated form of confidence, and it's important to talk about. Excuse me. So, charisma is essentially confidence, which we already talked about. Confidence plus connection equals charisma. Your ability to connect with people, your ability to inspire, to motivate, to make someone laugh, to get eye to eye, to sympathize with somebody. Confidence plus connection equals charisma. And charisma is very attractive. You understand? When I think about charisma, I think a lot about the really good stand-up comedians that we have nowadays. All right. So you look at the Cat Williams, look at the Bill Burrs, you look at the Kevin Harts, or whoever whatever your taste is. You understand? These are guys that have confidence plus the connection. They can connect with the audience. They can get up in front of hundreds or even thousands of people. They can get up in front of them and make them laugh and get down and show that they have an understanding of society, show that they have an understanding of different groups. You know, maybe they tell a joke about this group of people. Sometimes they bring politics into it. And so they build a connection with their audience on top of the confidence that they already have, thus giving them charisma. And this is one of those traits back in the days of old, before civilization. You know, I'm gonna go there. This is one of those traits that was very important to have as a man. If you had this, you were doing well. You understand? You build that confidence, right, through the competence, right, and the experience. And then you gain that charisma through your interactions, your ability to talk to that mother who may have, lost her child in childbirth. Your ability to sympathize with the young man that wasn't able to take down that wild boar or that wild wildebeest or whatever they were trying to hunt down, to talk to him and say, Hey, look, man, you were out there, you tried hard, you did your best. It's okay, brother. Having that connection on top of the charisma, on top of the confidence, gave you charisma. And this charisma is extremely attractive to women. You understand? And you see it a lot with, actually, we're not going to go into that yet. I'm going to wait until we get further down into the study or in the video, okay? But yeah, all right. So, as I said, confidence plus connection equals charisma. All right, now let's bring it back to attraction. Women being attracted to confidence. All right, here we go. Always be yourself and stand on your principles. Have conviction in what you believe. Live life on your own terms and don't let anyone faze you. Be you. Be yourself. One of the things, oftentimes you'll hear, when you hear women giving guys advice on dating, a lot of times they'll tell them, hey, just be yourself. If you're yourself, you're going to be the most confident being yourself. You trying to be somebody else, trying to act like somebody else, trying to be a pickup artist or con artist, you're going to get exposed at some point. And we're going to talk about that in detail a little later on. But just be yourself. Okay? Here we go. And this is why you need to be yourself. Women will test a man's confidence to determine if he is genuinely confident. Let me say that again. Women will test a man's confidence to determine if he's genuinely confident. These tests are done on a conscious and subconscious level. When these tests are happening, okay, always remain cool, calm, and collected. These are, so let's talk about that real quick. So a woman's going to test your confidence. And these are typically called shit tests, right? But another way of putting it, it's confidence test. So, like I said before, you got to be yourself, because if you sit here and try to fake confidence, you're going to get exposed at some point. And then that woman, because you got to understand, confidence is something that you can't see it physically. You can't really see if someone is confident. But after you have a conversation, after you get challenged on some things, you understand. Now I can truly assess whether or not you're confident or not. Because you got to understand, a woman cannot afford to reproduce or procreate with someone who isn't the real deal. Back in the days of old, before civilization, remember, having a child, pushing out a baby, this is before modern medicine. This is before our deep understanding of biology. So they could not afford to sit around and have a child with the wrong guy. They needed to be sure, right? And it was a bit, I would say it was a bit easier to gauge a guy's confidence back then than it is now, because it's so easy to fake it. So when you get these shit tests, these interest tests, a lot of guys fail them. They fail them because, they get offended by the shit test. And we're going to talk about shit tests in detail. But just in case you're confused about what a shit test is, let's say, for example, you pick up a girl on a date, and let's say you're about to go inside the restaurant. And let's say you open the door, you go inside the restaurant, and she's still outside. And then you go outside and you say, what you doing? Like, let's get in the restaurant. And then she tells you, well, I don't understand why you didn't hold the door for me. Now, you can do one of two things. You can answer like this. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Let me get that door for you. I'm so sorry, I didn't. Or you can say, hey, I didn't realize she was waiting on me to open the door. I usually don't open the door for people. I mean, I don't mind opening the door, but you can't just expect. Do you understand? Do you see the difference? It's not about you being an asshole and because remember I told you to stand on your principles and what you believe in. It's not about you being an asshole or being a jerk. It's just about you confidently expressing your opinion on something or expressing your belief, expressing your understanding of something. If you hurry up and run, oh, I'm so sorry. That could be an indicator. Again, this is just one of many shit tests you could face. That could be an indicator. This guy ain't got no backbone. He ain't got no. He just rang and opened the door for me. All right. And this is important because, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Women are attracted to confident men because at the end of the day, women have to face the world. And there's so many threats out there. There's so much unexpected things that can occur in the unknown. And like I said before, she has to make sure she picks the right partner. Because if she picks you, right, and you can't stand up to her, what's going to convince her that you can stand up to another guy who's bigger than her, who's stronger than her? You understand? And that's why the shit test, that's why you have to deal with them. Or I won't say you have to deal with them, but that's why you will experience these things. Okay? So, yes, a woman will test your confidence, determine if you're genuinely confident. Okay? And it's not about being an asshole, it's just about passing the confidence test, passing the shit test. And I'm going to make specific videos. I'm going to make a specific video talking just about the shit test or the confidence test. I'm hitting the wave tops now because I'm trying to get the philosophy out there, but just keep that in mind, okay? Now, you must have the confidence to defend your beliefs, even if a potential partner calls your beliefs into question. Respectfully, I just said this, respectfully challenge her attacks on your beliefs, all right? So let's say, all right, let's use another shit test, all right? Let's say, all right, so this actually happened to me not too long ago. So it was this girl I was talking to, and we were dating for a little bit, not long, maybe like a month or two, not too long. And so eventually, she came over to the crib. And so she came to the crib, and we're sitting there, we're talking, we're watching TV or whatever. And then she asked me, she was like, hey, you mind if I use the restroom? And I said, sure, go ahead. So we're in the living room. In order to get to my restroom, you got to go past the bedroom into the bathroom. So she used the bathroom, she come back. You know what this woman said to me? So she looked at my bed sheets. And so I'm a kid at heart. So I got my favorite football team on the bed sheets, right? Which is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, they're not the biggest franchise or the most successful franchise, but they've been getting better. But anyway, so she comes back to the living room, and you know what she tells me? She said, ew, you like the Jacksonville Jaguars? They suck. And you know what I did? I said, all right, well, you know what? I think we need to wrap this thing up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see you out the door. Yeah. I kicked her out of my house. I don't play that. There will be no Jaguar disrespect in my house. You understand? And I sent her home. Yes, Brother Scott sent her home because she made a joke about my Jaguars. Okay? Now, let's break that down, okay? Now, before we break that down, you know what? She called me back the next not the next day, but the day after. She called me back the next day. Baby, I'm sorry. Did I do anything to make you upset? I'm sorry. Did I say something? Let me make it up to you. Let me come back this weekend or the following weekend. Now, me, I didn't sit there and examine the situation when she said that about my team, and I didn't sit there and say, oh, she just did a shit test. I need to answer in the appropriate way. No. I am just a naturally confident individual. So I answered the way I being myself. You understand? And so looking back because I looked at it after the fact, I was like, dang, maybe that was a shit test. I don't know, but it looked like I passed. Because she called me back 2 days later. She said sorry, and she wanted to come back to the crib. All right, so let's break that down. The average guy, the average person, right? The modern guy, if someone says something negative, if a woman they like says something negative about their team, they'll go right along with it. Like, let's say it's you or someone unconfident, and she says, you like the Jaguars? They suck. An average guy would have been like, well, yeah, they suck, but they'll get better, but yeah, they are pretty garbage. Maybe I should get a new team. Do you think that is showing a display of confidence? Absolutely not. Okay, and that could have very well been a shit test that you failed. Okay, so again, it's not about being a jerk or an asshole. It's just about standing up for your principles, what you believe in. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Almost done. All right. Yeah. All right. Here we go. So this is important. I kind of alluded to this earlier. Don't fake confidence. She will find out eventually if you are a phony. All right. So I talked about this a little bit. So you have these pickup artists or these con artists that try to fake confidence just long enough to get the girl in the bedroom. And they go through all this trouble when you could just be a confident guy. Let's talk about this. So I remember, con men, right, which is basically a confidence man, con men have been around since forever, right? But, these pickup artists, I remember, when I was a kid, I'd be online, I'd be looking at, things. And one thing that was popular were these pickup artists. These pickup artists, and essentially what they do is they teach men how to act and what to say in order to pick up women. Right? Have you guys ever heard of the concept of a pickup line? Yeah, pickup artists. They're the ones that came up with these pickup lines existed, right? But these new pickup artists, they're the ones that kind of try to systematize this whole thing about being a pickup artist and what to say and how to say it and how to act. For example, like one of the lamest pickup lines, you go up to a girl and you say, "Hey, did it hurt?" And then they say, "Did what hurt?" Did it hurt when you fell down from heaven? Because you're looking like an angel to me. Shut your bitch ass. I wish I would hear somebody use that damn pickup line next to me trying to talk to a girl. But yeah. You have these pickup artists teaching you what to say, how to act, so you can pick up girls when you genuinely don't have the confidence. And unfortunately, if you do it right, it works. Right? We got con men now. these alpha male jackasses that you see online on the internet, these alpha male jackasses, they are notorious for being con men and showing these young, impressionable guys, 18, 19, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, how to be con men, how to be pickup artists. When you can just be confident. You understand? So don't fake it. Because going back to what I was saying, the shit test, that's what the shit tests are for. That's what the confidence tests are for. To expose your bitch ass for being a fake and a fraud. You understand? And the more attractive the woman, all right, the more intense the shit test is going to be. And the more unattractive you already are, the more intense the shit tests are going to be, because she has to be sure. She has to know. She ain't finna sleep with a guy or be with a guy that ain't confident. Or her level, what she would like is confidence, because it's all relative, right? Because if it's an physically unattractive woman, then she's probably not going to be throwing out a whole bunch of shit tests. But if it's a very attractive woman, a woman that is in demand, oh, you better believe there's a good chance you're going to get a couple of them. And most of the time, if you're truly an attractive guy, you don't even realize that they're tests. You don't realize it because, again, you're being yourself. Because when I go on dates now, I don't sit there and look for shit test, confidence tests. I usually just pass because I'm just being myself. Because, again, I'm running a business. I got things going on in my life. I got family, I got kids and things of that nature. You understand? So when I go on a date, I don't have time to sit there and waste time and try to pretend to be something that I'm not to get this girl to like me. Either she likes me or she's not. Either she's interested in wanting to be a part of my dynasty or not. So I'm just, you get the old natural brother Scott, you understand? When I go out on a date. So a lot of the shit, if I'm getting shit tested, I usually just pass. Every now and then I'll sit there and think, I see what you're doing. I know why you asked me that. I know why you did that. But for the most part, I'm not sitting there thinking about it because it's not, I don't need to. I'm naturally confident. And so I pass. Okay? All right. So, where I leave off at? Yeah, don't fake confidence. Just don't. Just be a naturally confident individual. Okay? All right. Now, here we go. This is important. Women are hardwired to be attracted to bad boys and jerks because these guys are confident and free thinkers. A rebellious spirit is attractive to a woman. This is why women are willing to put up with bad boys and jerks. Women will justify being in a relationship with a jerk by saying, oh, I can change him. They are hardwired to gravitate to confidence, even at times to their detriment. All right, now let's break that down. Let me break this down, okay? Now, as I told you, confidence is the most important aspect of attraction. And there are some women that will gravitate towards these bad boys, these jerks, these assholes, these thugs. You understand? The guy on the motorcycle, part of the of an outlaw club. You understand? Now, I'm not here to talk about the guy. I'm not here to talk about those guys in particular. We're simply talking about the attraction that women have for these guys. And it boils down to that confidence, right? That confidence that those guys have. These guys are free. A lot of these guys are confident. They're free thinkers. Let's go back up to the top and talk about those traits that are rooted in confidence. A lot of these guys have an independent mindset, right? A lot of these guys have leadership ability. A lot of these guys are ambitious. They're brave. So when you see the very stable, good girl with the jerk, with the asshole, with the thug, it's that damn confidence. A lot of times this just does not make sense to the average guy. Why is this attractive, beautiful, good girl with this jerk, with this asshole, with this thug, with this guy that's part of this outlaw MC? Why is she with Pookie and Ray Ray? It don't make sense to me. They don't even have a stable job. They don't have money. Sometimes. But they will put up with this guy. And they will defend staying with this guy, even when people point out this guy's not good for them. Again, this goes beyond what we can see. This goes beyond any logic. This is happening at a subconscious level. Okay? And just in case you're still confused because it just don't logically make sense, let me continue with my point. All right, here we go. Don't look down on women for being attracted to bad boys and jerks. Men are guilty of the same problem, okay? But it's different though, okay? Men are hardwired to gravitate to beautiful women, even at times to their detriment. For example, a typical example is a guy trying to change an attractive but promiscuous, trying to change a promiscuous woman into a housewife. Now, this happens all the time. Where you have a guy who's physically attracted to this beautiful woman. She's so beautiful. She's so pretty. She got a big old booty. She got the breasts. She got the cute face and everything. But the girl may not be, or the woman may not be good for him in his best interest. But he can't see past that because he's hardwired to be attracted to a physically beautiful woman. So he may not even realize this woman's not good for him. She's promiscuous, or she a gold digger, or she this, or she that. Because again, the hardwiring takes over. So let's flip it. When a woman has that hardwiring to be attracted to the jerk or the asshole, to the thug, she can't see. Sometimes she can't see beyond. Okay, he ain't got no job. He don't have any plans for me, any future. This guy, probably cheating on me. I can't prove it, but he's cheating on me. Do we understand? Does that make sense? All right? It comes down to hardwiring. And this is why I always bring up biology and anthropology. This goes beyond this concrete jungle that we've built for ourselves. Society is a relatively new concept. You need to understand that. Society is new. If you look at all of humanity, we were anatomically humans about 300,000 years ago. And we just started building societies a couple thousand years ago. Just a couple thousand. When you look at the ancient, the first major civilizations, like you look at ancient China or ancient Egypt, or you look at Mesopotamia or the Indus Valley civilization. These are relatively new in the entirety of humanity. And so we get used to looking through these societal lens, and we don't even bother to look at how we are designed physically. You understand? And so this is why, they're attracted to the jerks and assholes. And this is why we are willing to neglect negative aspects of a woman if she's attractive enough. Okay? So yeah. So don't look down. Look. Try to have some understanding, at least. Okay? Why women go after these guys. Okay? And my next point. It takes willpower to break the attraction we have for someone that isn't good for us, regardless if you're a man or a woman, regardless. All right? So a woman that's with a jerk or an asshole who's using her, who's cheating on her, her friends may sit her down and say, hey, you need to let this guy go. This guy's not good for you. He's in and out of jail. It takes willpower, right? No different than if your guy friends sat you down And let's say you were with a woman who's physically attractive but was not good for you, and it would take some time. Maybe you've experienced this. Maybe you've had a friend who was with a girl who was no good for him for whatever reason, and you and your friends try to have an intervention, and he refuses to listen. You understand? Okay? So yeah, it takes willpower. Now, my conclusion, okay? Actually, no, let me address this real quick. So, a lot of these alpha male jackasses, they'll preach. This is important. You need to pay attention to this. They'll preach to these young men, or just men in general. Yeah, if you're a jerk, and you treat women like second-class citizens, and then you put on a shirt that says alpha male and put on a tight-ass blazer you can barely fit on and drive a sports car, hey, you're gonna have women galore. And this is very misleading, because what will end up happening is you'll have, again, you have these con men, these pickup artists. They understand how they understand how to attract women, but it's misleading, because you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be an asshole. It's about confidence. You understand? What's happening is these jerks and assholes, they have confidence, but it's ratcheted up so high that women are not seeing the negative aspects of it. Just like when we look at a woman, and this is no disrespect to anybody that participates in this, but if you have cosmetic surgery, the makeup, the wigs and things like that, when a woman puts that stuff on, put it on her body and things of that nature, well, guess what? We can't see the genuine physical beauty that she has, because it's being covered up, it's being masked. You understand? And so when that attraction is being ratcheted up so high that we don't even care if it's real or not, that can become problematic. We understand. So you don't have to be a bad boy, a jerk, or have a rebellious spirit to be a confident and independent man. If you're a truly confident and independent man, you will be able to attract just as many women as the bad boys and jerks. Okay? You don't have to be an asshole, a jerk, a thug, if that's not your life. I will say this. Some people, I gotta be careful how I say this. There are some guys who naturally became jerks or assholes just because of the life they have had to live. If you had to climb your way up a Fortune 500 company and to be the CEO, there's a good chance you're not the nicest of guys. There's a good chance you're not the most forgiving of guys or the most considerate of guys to get to that point, right? So you will naturally adopt certain traits and attributes where you may be a jerk at times. You may be an asshole at times. You understand? And if you're in the streets, we'll say, if you're participating in the underground economy for people who are doing that, there's a good chance they're not Mr. Rogers, they're a Mr. Nice Guy if they're at the top of what they're doing. You understand? So there are people who naturally become this thing, become like this. What I'm telling you is you don't have to fake this type of personality to attract women. That's essentially what I'm telling you. Okay? So confidence is the most important aspect of attraction. And this is going to explain a lot in your life. Why maybe the woman that you dated cheated on you with the more confident man, or refused to go out with you but will go out with the jerk or the asshole. Or not even that, just the more confident guy. You understand? Confidence is important. And the last thing I will say about this is I talked in previous videos about, owning your own business. And when you own your own business, when you have your own stuff, you naturally become attractive. Let me break that down. So physical appearance, it is what it is, but again, you can control what you can control with healthy diet, routine exercise, and good hygiene. So with physical appearance, it is what it is. But when you start your own business and you're successful at it and you start gaining businesses and assets, boom, you start gaining financial security, which is attractive to a woman. You start gaining social status depending on how well your product is selling, depending on how good you are. If you're the best barber in Jacksonville, Florida, you're going to have a high level of status, which makes you more attractive to women. You understand? If you're a local rapper, even if you're just a local rapper and you're gaining some traction, maybe you're not known internationally yet, but within that city, guess what? You're going to become more attractive just because of your social status. You understand? And then confidence, as I just explained in this video. You will gain confidence in that business because once you have solidified your place, once you have a successful business or a business that's doing pretty well, and once you have that status, that's going to give you the confidence to go up and have conversations with people. That's going to give you the confidence to go make a cold approach with the woman. That's going to give you a confidence in every aspect of your life. And women will notice that when you have conversations, the way you interact with people, you understand. It'll overall make you an attractive individual. And this is why I preach entrepreneurship so damn much. You can still, work for, there's nothing wrong with working for somebody. All right, this is not, because even with Underdogs United, I'm still doing things for other people until Underdogs United take off. All right, so I'm still doing things on the side. I'm still doing other things. But like I told you guys in a previous video, once Underdogs United, once it takes off, once it becomes big, boom, I'm going all in. You understand? Okay? So yeah, so that's confidence. So to summarize, all right, so we talked about understanding female attraction, and we talked about the 4 primary attributes of attraction: physical appearance, financial security, social status, and confidence. I talked about the origins of why these things are attractive, and then I gave examples and I gave you more understanding of why I placed them in their respective areas, okay? So now that you understand female attraction, all right, while you're building your dynasty, you understand female attraction. The next thing we're going to talk about in our next video is determining if you are ready for a relationship. Okay? Whew, that was a long one. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And always remember, with faith, courage, and discipline, we will prevail.